India-Canada stalemate only intensifies. Amid this escalating tension, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has said that the proof of Nijjar's alleged murder by Indian agents have already been shared. That information has been shared with India weeks ago. But MEA has categorically denied receiving any such evidence. This comes as Trudeau continues to change his own statements on Nijjar's murder. Now, his government's ally, David Abbey, who is the Premier of British Columbia, has exposed Trudeau, saying that he gave open source information to the Parliament. He says it was frustrating that there was no concrete evidence. All this is open source evidence, which is also easily available for people to find on the internet. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has said that U.S. is deeply concerned about the allegations made by Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and want both India and Canada to work together.
The long-standing ties between India and Canada currently under a cloud because of the killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar and the Trudeau government's constant allegations against India, even as India asks for actual hard evidence. At the same time, the Trudeau government being questioned by its own people, by the Canadian politicians themselves, with David Abbey, the Premier of British Columbia, questioning the evidence that is supposedly being shown by the Trudeau administration with regard to the killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar. India has raised this question on the diplomatic front, that why is it that Canada has not taken a hardline stance when India had provided a dossier with regard to the pro-Khalistan movement and its leaders living in Canada. But the question that Indians in Canada are currently asking is about their safety, their future, and the future of the diplomatic ties between the two countries.
In regards to India, Canada has shared the credible allegations that I talked about on Monday with India. We did that many weeks ago, and we are there to work constructively with India, and we hope that they engage with us so that we can get to the bottom of this very serious matter.
There is a degree of prejudice here, They have made the allegations, they have taken action on them. To us, it seems or it appears that these allegations by the Government of Canada are primarily politically driven. No specific information has been shared by Canada on this case, either then or before or after. We have, as we have said, or I think we've been very clear, we are willing to look at any specific information. We have conveyed this to the Canadian side, made it clear to them that we are willing to look at any specific information that is provided to us. But so far, we have not received any such specific information.
The only briefings that I've been able to receive from CSIS are what are called open information briefings or open source briefings, which is information that's available to the public doing an internet search, which I find frustrating. And so I can be transparent about that information that I've received. In terms of the specific incident in Surrey, I was contacted by the Prime Minister. He briefed me about what he was going to say in the Parliament, which he then went on and said. I expressed my frustration in the meeting with the CSIS director about our inability to get more concrete information about this kind of thing, and I have articulated that to the federal government. I understand there may need to be reform around the act that governs CSIS in order for them to be able to share this information. If that's what's required, let's make it happen.
We are deeply concerned about the allegations that Prime Minister Trudeau has raised. We have been consulting throughout very closely with our Canadian colleagues, and not just consulting, coordinating with them on this issue. And from our perspective, it is critical that the Canadian investigation proceed. And it would be important that India work with the Canadians on this investigation. We want to see accountability, and it's important that the investigation run its course and lead to that result.
I suspect that the United States doesn't want to be pinned in the corner to choose between two friends, but if we have to choose between two friends, increasingly we're going to choose India on this matter, simply because Nijjar was a terrorist, and India is too important, our relationship is too important. Justin Trudeau probably isn't long for the Canadian premiership, and then we can rebuild the relationship after he's gone.